Well, welcome to the Hollow Bone, everybody with Phoenix. If you're new to this, being the Hollow Bone is being a channel for source where messages, healing, and miracles can come through. And each week on the radio show, you can expect to hear live channelings that open your heart and lift your energy, conversations with visionary leaders walking their own path of alignment, healing transmissions that flow through the Hollow Bone. And whether you tune in live or listen to the archives, every episode is a chance to receive guidance, expand your awareness, and align more fully with the miracles waiting for you. Today, we are so blessed to have Chris Lombard join us again. I first interviewed him back in December of last year, and he works with people and horses to help them connect with each other. He finds that working with horses inspires us to be better ourselves, to better understand ourselves, each other, and all of life. Chris has a new book out called Warrior Horse, Living and Dying with Animals in a Soulful and Heartfelt Way. And I was so privileged to be able to read an advanced copy of this before publication. And the best way I can sum up my interpretation of this book is that it will quite possibly change your life. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Phoenix. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate you having me on. It's really special for me to be here. And I want to say thank you right off, not only for being able to join you here, but also for your help with the book. You were one of the very first people to read it and offer some thoughts and some very powerful thoughts, and even something that went on to the back of the book.
Yay.
And a further writing about the book that I'll release in a more full extent later on at some point. But it just went right to my heart. It went right to the heart of the book too. So thank you for being a part of it in that way.
Oh, it was absolutely my pleasure. And, it's just that's what came through after I
Mm.
read the book. And I did read it twice. Well, actually, probably more than twice, because some parts I read more than twice. But I read it through in one sitting because I was just devouring it. And then I thought, oh, wait, I don't want to miss anything. So I went back and I nibbled, and then I nibbled and I thought, and I nibbled and I thought. And oh, it's magnificent. It so embodies the way that you work with all sentient beings. And you are a true hollow bone. And I can't say that about very many people. And I mean, I teach people how to do this, but it's hard for most people. You embody it.
Mm.
That's rare. So thank
Well,
you.
yeah. Thank you for seeing that in me, just the hollow bone of, like we're all capable, like you said, of being our own unique hollow bone, of having love and beauty and connection and healing all flow right through us.
Absolutely.
And like you said, boy, that's just lifelong work, isn't it? It's a practice. It is completely a practice, with no place of ever like fully getting there.
That's what I
and,
say
and
too.
having it just stay. I think it's like everything else in the world. It's all on that spectrum of duality. Sometimes you're feeling connected, sometimes not as connected, and that's the experience of life, I think. So we can create, and so we can have experience where we can feel differences of experience. And in order to do that, you have to have the feel of hot and cold, up and down, young and old, winter, summer, and connected, not as connected.
It's so
and
true.
and so that work of clearing, that work of just clearing and cleaning and creating good flow and letting go of the friction, so that can all pass through. Yeah, like animals, and just like you said, being around all sentient beings and feeling that with them, joining with them, and that is one of the things that makes me come alive.
I can see it.
Makes me come alive. You
Oh,
put people and horses together, which is my main work, but really just people and animals together. You put people and nature together. It's something where, and put people and people together. That works too, yes, but that can be one of the ones that can also be one of the more challenging,
yeah, for sure.
because we can all have a hard time being present and being clear in
Yes.
our hollow boneness and all of that. But the animals, they're brilliantly really attached to that present moment and that pure state of being and whole and feeling whole in the moment, no matter what tends to be going on. So yeah, a lot happens. A lot happens when you connect to those dudes.
Oh, it's so amazing. And just, when you write about it and when you demonstrate on your videos and things like that, you can tell that you're holding a heartfelt field, for the two of you that are interacting, you and the horse or you and the animal, you and the person, whoever it is. It's like it just comes out and just encircles the two of you, and that's how you meet together. And that is a beautiful gift to the world, and it's a beautiful way of sharing love so that love can help growth, if that makes sense.
100%. Way to put words on it. Yeah, and as you were speaking right there, I thought about that was a great segue from what we were talking about because you know, I I feel it when I'm in it. And then one of the most uncomfortable things is feeling when you're not all the way in. And it goes right back to feeling cluttered,
Yeah,
by being in the mind and overthinking and having some sort of worry going on, or even on the other end of that, some hope going on that something's going to happen and go a certain way, or a fear about myself and messing up or not being enough or being too much or being watched or being judged or judging myself. The list goes on, right?
yeah.
And so I think that awareness, of self is also, it's one of the most brilliant ways of growth in love, like you said. But I think be ready, look out. It's also really uncomfortable because you become very self-aware in a beautiful way, and you're also aware of when you're getting in the way of yourself,
Yeah,
which is a gift. You're seeing it, you're aware, you know it, but it doesn't mean you get away from feeling that and everything. But always on the other end of that is a deeper connection. There's just no way around it. No matter how many of these things happen, where they don't go your way in the moment, you're like, oh, I wish that didn't happen.
yeah,
But gosh, down the road, minutes, days, weeks, months, or years, you have a deeper connection to yourself and all of life. And you're like, you know what? I wouldn't change a thing
yeah,
of how it all happened. And that comes with that self awareness because you're not so much blaming life or running from life or fighting life, but you're sitting with yourself. You're sitting with how you're living, how you're being,
yeah,
and allowing that shift to happen inside rather than some sort of shift you're trying to control in the outside world so you don't have to feel uncomfortable.
yeah,
But you hit the nail on the head. That's really the work. That's the biggest work I think with any, in this case we're talking about horses, my main work, but with any interaction is how you show up. Where you're at, your presence and full presence, and being connected in a way, hopefully, where yeses and nos are the same thing and lead to the same place. And so there's almost this can't lose feeling, and no matter what happens, which is a big thing to say.
yeah,
But I know when I'm really in it with a horse, when I'm really there, that's exactly what it feels like. That
yeah.
that, that that's enough. Just be there and let it unfold as it will.
That's so true. I call it the place of everything and nothing,
Oh,
because it's everything, because it's you and the oneness that you're feeling and you're participating in, and oneness with source. And it's nothing because you're not controlling it. You can't do
oh,
anything about it. If you try to, it's going to stop. It's going to blow it up. And so it's a really perfect paradox, but it's also perfect for this 3D world that we live in that is so filled with duality.
is that when Phoenix? Is that when you feel your greatest power and healing? Um, when it be involved with others, guiding them, supporting them, and sharing space with them and helping them? Is that when you feel like the biggest, most powerful um, opportunity for healing?
I would say yes, but and when I get out of my way,
Yeah.
when my mind is not involved and it's just all pure heart and whatever's going to come through is going to come through, and I have no agenda, no attachment to the outcome, I'm just allowing it. Yes, with all of that.
And that's really that's some of the work, right? Because of all this, we can't help but have this like really innocent, this beautifully innocent care about our lives and the lives of others. And so it's hard to have that let go of some of these things that we wish weren't happening or that we hope go away, but to also surrender.
Yeah.
in a way where we are loving and blessing right there and supporting, without feeling like anything bad is going on or anything's wrong or the person or the horse that we're with is not whole.
Yeah.
Um,
Or
so,
needs fixing. That's
or
another
needs
thing.
fixing,
Yeah,
right?
that's not on the agenda.
Yeah, like just looking at, we're on Zoom right now, and just looking at your eyes and your face when you said that, and you're like, yeah, and not fixing, which, boy, in any sort of medical industry, that just can't help. Even if it's not conscious, even if it's subconscious, this feeling of something's wrong with you. And being in the presence of that, that really gets in the way of the healing, huh?
It does. It
Yeah.
totally does. And so I've been writing about that. I'm on LinkedIn a lot, and you've really inspired me because you write beautiful, long, deep posts on Facebook, and people read them. I never thought Facebook would do that, but I see what you're doing. So now I'm starting to move some things over to Facebook too, but on LinkedIn. So I've been writing about like what is healing, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and it's not what we think always. It will be what it is, right? And then there's the healing versus the curing, of course. But, sometimes it comes in when you're asking for the highest and best, it can come in ways you have no idea about. And it
Yeah.
doesn't look like you think it should.
Right.
And then you find how perfect it is, right?
Mm.
I, I gave the example of I was working with a client who she had been going to a lot of. Sorry, I'll just segue on this and then we'll go back to you. Um,
No, let me hear it.
she had been going to a lot of doctors and they couldn't find what was wrong, and she was having a lot of symptoms and all they were doing is pushing their meds. And so she was talking to me and she was so frustrated. And finally I said, "Do you want a session?" And she said, "Yes." So, all right, just whatever was coming through. I had no idea what it was. You just don't know. And so, but the next day when I talked to her, I said, "So how are you?" And she said, "Well, you're going to be really upset with me." I said, "No, I'm not." I said, "What's going on?" She goes, "Well, I'm not better." And I said, "But what are you?" Because I could tell there was more to this story.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Well, I just discovered that, with all these doctors pushing their meds, I think I'm on too many meds, and I need to go back to my doctor and sit down and figure out what do I actually need and what don't I." And I thought
Mm.
that was the perfect solution for her because she became empowered. She became her own best health advocate. So no matter where she goes next, she's going to be able to stand up for herself and say, "No, no, no, we're not going to do it that way," or "Let's sit down and talk about this." And she wasn't doing that before. She was putting these doctors on a pedestal, but then found, no, they're fallible. They're just like they're human, right? They don't have all the
Yeah.
answers. It was such a perfect example of what is healing.
Boy, that's it right there. It's the let go of the who, what, why, when, where, how,
Yeah.
and really just being there and saying, one of the terms I'll say is, what does the moment want? Because it can be anything. It can be
Yes.
anything. And if I'm coming from love through my heart, then that moment can't not serve
That's
the
right.
horse, the person, and me.
That's
E-
exactly
e- e-
right.
no matter what's happening,
Yeah,
that the heart can't make decisions that are just looking out for you alone.
that's right.
The heart only has you and your relationship to the whole equally in mind, and
Hmm.
what's happening in that regard. And that's the transcendence, I believe, of yes being better than no, transcendence of good and bad, hopes, needs, things like that. And where you said like it's everything and nothing at the same, words drop away, you can't describe it, but you feel there's like this immortal, eternal okayness with whatever is happening.
Yep.
And here's the key: wherever it goes as well. And so
Yes.
there's freedom, and in that there's this an ability to really create, an
Mhm.
ability almost where the universe looks back at you and says, "Well, how may I serve you?"
Yes.
And
Yes.
oh, well, since you asked, like,
Yeah.
there's like you're being invited. It seems like you're being invited to offer what you'd like, and it's like your wish is my command at that moment. But then, like you said, you got to let go of
How?
what that looks like
Yep.
as
Yes.
far as how it comes back to you. There's things these days. There's things that come my way where I'll be like, and it won't feel like a big deal, really. It'll just kind of be like a blip on the screen or something now. And then I'll think back, I'm like, wait a second, 10 years ago, I was asking for that. I was like, 10 years ago, that was kind of important to me. And there it is. It just happened. All right. That's cool.
Isn't that
Um,
awesome?
yeah, yeah. And what I think is so tremendously interesting is that it's the same with horses for this right here. You come in with this, there's a universal language that they know. They won't be able to speak English with you. There's definitely differences in minds and bodies, but there is an eternal spirit based language within the souls of each other where you're on completely equal ground and keep completely equal understanding. And so people ask me where my greatest learnings or teachers are in the last years. And I'd say, for about the last 10 years, 10, 12 years, it's been my own personal development and people that have helped me with that. And they're pretty much 100% not horse trainers or horse professionals.
Right.
Because as I find that I shift and evolve on the inside, that corresponds 100% to my way with horses shifting and evolving there on the outside with them.
Yeah.
And so goes their response as well to me. Um, so it's a beautiful world and how it's all shifting that way. All of humanity is starting to look at it that way.
Mhm.
And it's also, a lot of discomfort as we all shift, as we let go. But it's also very exciting on the other side of it too.
It is. It totally is. Oh my goodness. I call the language of the heart, that um, language without words, that you
Mm,
just feel with
mm.
sentient beings, with plants, with animals, with people.
It's the cool thing is it's everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. We're
It's
surrounded by it.
Yeah, you don't got to go anywhere. When you start feeling it, it's there, it resides inside you, and you see that experience reflected back to you through sources, God's universes, creators, infinite amount of possibility and creation out there. You're seeing an infinitude of beautiful variations of yourself.
A good way of
you
putting
know,
it.
coming back. That you are not. It's hard to speak about because it transcends like a lot of what the English language is based on, where it's oneness. I am the tree is me, but then also the tree is tree, and I am Chris, and this,
Yeah,
we're infinitely different, but also completely 100% the same, and so it's in that, like you said, beyond words, it's a feeling. It's a feeling of when you're there.
yeah.
And I think, like anything in life, the more you practice it, the more you know it, the more you can get back to it.
Mhm.
The more when it's hard to feel, you can use different ways to get you back into the flow of feeling it. And the experience of it is the reward in and of itself. When you're in it, you just feel like everything is what we'd call, it's a loaded word, but what we call perfect,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what was interesting to me when I wrote The Hollow Bone of Healing, the pushback that I got from people, because I talk so much about unconditional love in that book, and
Mm,
the pushback I got from people that, because in my naivety, I assumed everybody would understand that concept, but
mm,
they don't. And not everybody, I mean, people were telling me, I don't know if I've ever had it in my life. I don't know if I would recognize it. I don't even know if my dog has it for me. It was like on that level, it was just so, whew, how do you take people from that point? And it's kind of like your work with horses. They're not broken. They're just in fear and they've had a horrible experience and they don't trust anybody. So it's the same kind of thing, but people are not usually in a position where you can work with them like you do with a horse. Do you know what I'm saying?
wow, way to get to it. I've thought about that a lot.
Hmm.
about, because you and I both write and talk a lot about unconditional love.
Yep.
And I think every time I write it as well, I'm thinking it's a term, it's been around forever, right?
Right.
But I don't think I can tell when I was younger, a young man, and in my 20s, I don't think I had a true I'd probably like to have said, I was watching movies like The Princess Bride
Yes.
and thinking, oh, that's true love, true
Yeah.
unconditional love. It's in all the books, it's in all the movies and all the stories. And I know this, though. I know the way the culture was kind of teaching me and surrounding me in it, and stories and movies and talk, was that it's something you had to go find.
Yeah.
You had to go
Yeah.
search for it, and most likely you'd find it
Outside.
in a
Yes.
romantic partner somewhere.
Right.
Right? That's the place.
Yeah.
And so unconditional love, I heard this the other day, and it's coming to me now, that if you put it out there, I would like to feel unconditional. I would like to know unconditional love. I would like to feel unconditional love. I would like to experience unconditional love. Then okay, then there you go. That would be the best thing to do, because it can't be learned in a book. It can't be read in words. It can't be explained. Like, I even thought about trying to maybe go there here, but I'm like, I don't think you can.
I know.
But I know that a question and an answer are very close to being one and the same almost. And just let go. It could be while driving your car, it could be standing in a forest, it could be like talking to somebody, it could be, but it rises up from within, and it has nothing to do with what's going on.
Yes.
I think one of my first experiences of it would have been in the year 2015, in October of 2015, where me and a significant other, a partner of mine, were splitting up. We were meeting in this field. We walked out to this, we drove up our vehicles and met at this field that was special to us. We both walked out into the field and sat down. And I didn't know which way it was going to go. And we were talking, and she and I kind of said, like, well, I guess the question is, do we want to put more into this and see where it can go? And she just kind of gently shook her head and said, no, I think we should be done. I'm like, okay. And she then had courage to tell me, because she didn't have to, I don't think, but she then had courage to tell me that she had been seeing somebody else for a little while. And our relationship was on its tail end, but she had been seeing somebody. And this same thing had happened to me some years prior. And I reacted with flight, judgment. I reacted with thinking, and my words weren't that bad towards the person, but I can feel the words that were in my head were of judgment at that time, that I had been hurt by them and they were responsible. But this moment in the field, Phoenix, she said that, and there was something in her eyes, how she was looking at me, obviously waiting for what my response would be. And I sat there and I felt something else kind of well up within me, like it was rising up, like it was going to take flight. And I didn't even know what the next words that were going to come out of my mouth were. And this was person who's the closest person to me for 7 years, right? And so also what words came out of me without even trying or thinking or knowing what they were was, are you happy?
Wow.
And she kind of looked at, and it was so light how it came out of me. It was a real question. And she kind of looked at me like, and her guard went down a little bit. And she was like, yeah. And I said, I'm really, really happy about that. It was almost like I was discovering it too. Like, it's like my first words ever. I was
Wow.
like, I'm really, really happy about that. And I started smiling and laughing. I'm like, that's really good. She was like, yeah, thanks. I'm like, yeah. And then something happened, Phoenix, where I stood up, and I didn't even know I'm doing this. And I just started laughing. I started laughing, and she started laughing.
Oh,
And we're
lovely.
breaking up, and she was telling me she's been seeing somebody else. And then out of nowhere, I took my shirt off. I
Right
was
on.
wearing a t-shirt, I was just wearing a t-shirt. I took my shirt off, and I kind of woo, and I kind of threw it in the air. And she starts cracking up, and I start cracking up. I'm really happy for you. I love you, and I'm really happy for you. And I feel you got to follow this. It's like I was out of the way, gone. It was like suddenly I was like, you got to follow this. You have a spark. You have something here, and you're coming alive, and it's good for you. And then I started running circles with my arms out like I was flying.
My
And I was
God.
just going, woo, and laughing. And she's cracking up laughing, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I just feel good for everything right there. And she said, I don't remember her words exactly, but she said, she's like, something about you right there just feels like you. She used the word, I remember, ascended.
Ah,
And we never used that word. That wasn't really in our vocabulary. I never heard her use that word before. And as I remember this, it's very dreamlike,
yeah.
but I remember the feeling. I'm trying to remember the different steps of how it happened, but the feeling here, oh, I could write a whole book about it without stopping. Just it would pour out of me. But I remember that feeling. It was what is best for her is best for me. What her heart wants is what my heart wants. Where her journey is taking her, both from her nurturing of her journey, her choices, but also the nature, that part of us born in to ourselves, where we can't get away from our line no matter how hard we try. Whatever this is that further takes her on that journey is what I also want to have take with me on my journey, and how I can be best of service to that.
Mm.
And it's all in a feeling. I didn't have to think it. I didn't have to, I wonder, if I should say this or not, or do any honesty is automatically kicks in there. A respect of the other person automatically kicks in. Kindness, support, compassion, all of that.
Yeah.
What we call forgiveness. You see no wrong in the other person, even if they have done things. You automatically have this way of seeing them where they never wanted to hurt you. It was never personal. It's just how they're living their lives in their own fears
Yeah.
and in their own pains and in their own self preservation instinct. You see the innocence of all of us in that moment.
Mhm.
And so you see everything with the same exact love that you are hoping to receive your whole life. And in the moment of giving it, what you feel is you're receiving it. You're receiving it just as much at the same exact time. Yeah, so that was 2015. And I'd say that was my first real moment where I think I experienced what unconditional love was. Yeah.
It's a wholeness, isn't it? A return to wholeness.
Returns the word, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's there all the time. It's
Mhm.
just how connected you can be to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you wrote about that in your second book, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Wow,
Uh-huh.
yeah, you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And in that book, in one of the first chapters, it was a conversation with a different person,
Yeah.
where I was telling that very story. Yep, where I was
Yes.
telling that very story
Yes.
right there.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was a very poignant book. I loved your examples of unconditional love in that book. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially with a partner, because that can be where it's the hardest. I mean, who's going to trigger you the most? You
It
know?
is. I don't think there's any way around it.
I
I
know.
think that's first, romantic partners, then probably parental relationships
Yeah.
after that.
Yes.
I don't even know what
Authority.
third would be. Brothers, sisters, I don't know, but
Any other authority, I suppose. But yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
So that's really the foundation of Warrior Horse, isn't it? The unconditional love.
Yeah, you got to it, Phoenix. That's what that whole book is about, but I don't say it, do it in it. This is about unconditional
No,
love.
I mean, no, no,
Because
but you show it, you demonstrate it all the way through.
yeah,
Yeah.
if somebody said, Chris, I'm going to unconditionally love this horse, they'd be like, okay, you got it. Let's move on. Next person.
Check.
So that's what that book is. It's one great sort of story
Mhm.
that hopefully gets to that feeling.
Oh,
Yeah.
uh, it absolutely does, and I can't imagine anybody reading it and not being touched
Hmm.
by your experiences and everything that you shared and how you shared it. Hmm.
Yeah, the because it's messy as well. The It
Life
was
is.
taking place during the messiest time of my life personally, and it was all happening internally. Like if you'd say, "Well, what happened, Chris?" What? Not nothing really. It just
Nothing and
something kicked
everything.
in inside of me. Something kicked in inside of me where I felt as alone as I ever had. I really went to that place of feeling like um, not loved, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
In a deeper way, I was unaware that I could ever feel it that deeply.
Oof.
Um, I I really felt like it was something that people maybe usually would go through earlier in their lives, but man, this just kind of. But it did have to do with a lot of the earlier part of my life. It had to do with my birth story, adoption story,
Yeah.
and so that can kind of get peeled back and uncovered and arise definitely at way later stages of life, at any time of life.
Yeah.
But then to also have Matea and Rocky going through health issues at the same time. Um, it felt messy. It felt like every day was a struggle. Every day was a struggle,
Yeah.
and you felt like it was really reliant upon hopefully something goes right today. So hopefully something happens today that we get good news, or Matea eats,
Yeah.
or Rocky um, gains weight, or I get a call from somebody that's gonna make me feel better, or something like that during that time.
Mhm.
And I really say I was, brought to my knees very much about through it all. And it was something that kicked in. All of this kicked in right when Matea was diagnosed with her congestive heart failure. It was that night. That night, I was sitting in the parking lot where I took her into the emergency vet when the symptoms arose, because I knew what these symptoms were, and I knew as soon as we had to get some medicine, we should. So I went to the emergency vet, and they just wanted to do a ton of tests. We were there for hours, and they had her in there. And I was sitting out in the parking lot, and that's when I'd say it started. I could feel it, something with her going through that. Something kicked in where I felt like I needed to be saved by something outside of me.
Yeah.
And what that was, well, fill in the blank. There was a romantic partnership that I was kind of, that was present there a little bit. It wasn't quite a partnership at all. It was just somebody, we had mutual interest in each other. But we already had history, so it wasn't very,
Hard.
it was kind of, we were missing each other and coming together, and then not there. And so it was just kind of on the outskirts, but it was very meaningful for me.
Mhm.
Then there was my relationship to being adopted, and just how that whole thing affected me. That popped out right there.
Yeah.
Um, and then there was four things. Can't remember what the fourth was. And then there was Matea going through her thing. Yeah, can't remember what the fourth was right there. But it felt like I just couldn't find. I equate it this way. There was one day where I felt like, if we have a glow within that never goes out, this glow within us, which is the connection to all of life, this feeling of love, maybe, that throughout my life I've felt that be very strong, and then sometimes dim, just like a candlelight, just like a pulsing, candlelight. I felt it go out.
Oh,
I felt it go out. It was one night. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I'm like, oh my God. I this light has gone out. Um, and it was just one night. The next day I felt it back, but then it took the next kind of year and a half, couple years to kind of really get it back. And um, I'd have to say that any of the things that I thought were the cause of that, none of them changed.
right.
That nothing happened where I'm like, oh, good. Oh, this bad thing that I thought was happening or did happen or whatever, that changed or shifted, or I got what I wanted and now I feel better. No, in fact, it all went the opposite way.
Yes. Just got worse.
But yet I wouldn't. but yet I'm left here at a place now. There is a place in me now. How I describe it to myself, there's a place in me now, Phoenix, that feels like it can't be gotten.
Mm.
Meaning it can't be taken away. It can't be gotten. It's not reliant on my experience here
Yeah.
in this world and what happens, what we call outside, and all of that. I can feel it. It's a place that it's all and everything in such a way that you can't ever be afraid of all and everything if you are it.
Yes.
um, and so I can't take any of it back. I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change a second because of this place of peace inside me. And I can still feel the living of life. I can still feel the human, the beautiful human affected by life who has feelings, who's down sometimes and who's sad sometimes and who's joyful and happy sometimes and who's affected by how things go in the world. However, it feels like it's that is not tangible. Like I can't poke it, I can't touch it, I can't get it, I can't hit it, it can't be hit.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't turn it
Yeah,
on and off. Yeah.
yeah, that's it. Um, and so, oh gosh, I feel such a like a being held, a being held. This
Yeah.
book came out of it. This book poured out of me after this experience. But my most favorite writing experience of my life. Oh, it was electric.
Oh,
Just pouring out of me, and yeah. So there's something to that. There's something to uh, the idea of in this world to feel unconditional love. You just also have to know when you stray from it,
mm,
when you drift from it,
mm,
that feeling. It's just, there's no way around it.
mhm.
I've not, every one of my greatest teachers, I've seen them be like, oh, oh man, I had a hard day. There's just that's it. You got to love the whole experience.
Oh, yes. Oh,
You got to love the whole experience and you got to give it up to trusting life. You don't know there's things that are so we can sense the feel of the timing and of the meaning, but the comprehension of why things happen, which we think are tragic, it's still just a story. It's still just something we tell ourselves based on a judgment of what we think life should be.
yeah.
Um, and then when you let go of that, you can see the beauty,
Mhm.
and that beauty does not need any box,
No.
any any set description, any number of years lived, any number of experiences had. Uh, it doesn't need to be labeled at
Yeah.
all.
Or
Yeah,
defined. Yeah.
or even defined. Yeah. Mm.
Thank you for sharing all that. I know that you've read Frank Full's Crow, Wisdom and Power, and he talks about the difference between healing and curing.
Oh,
And curing is when the presiding symptoms go away, but healing is when you achieve a peace with what is, right? And do you think that that's what you were experiencing? Was that healing?
I remember that part in that book in Wisdom and Power, where I think he's asked,
Mhm.
"What about when people can't be cured?
Right.
What about when they're a younger person? When they're at the beginning of all these things that are just really hard on us humans to see and know and experience and be a part of." And I remember him saying, Wakantanka is um, always looking out for the whole. He's looking out for the whole of us and the part we all play in that. And a lot of this has to for this to fully make sense, one has to have an understanding of life just being a little adventure we're on.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
We just come here and put on a coat for a while, and then we take it off when we go.
Mhm.
And throughout it all, we're looked after. We're safe. We are.
Mhm.
And we're cared for. And some of us are here for a day. Some of us don't even come out into this world. We're with our moms just for a little bit. In the in the pregnancy process. And these are big things to talk about. So I want to be gentle and respectful, honorable, and so we all have our part to play. And if we just trust that, if we trust life,
Mhm.
then what kicks in is also a trust of death and the timing of it. And the timing of it, as another friend of mine said, he says, all worry is just an innocent disrespect for divine order and timing. And so I think of what Frank would say there, Wakantanka is concerned for the whole and our part in playing that.
Mhm.
Well, what is the whole? I'm part of that too.
Yep.
It's not like saying Wakantanka is concerned with those other people over there, but not you.
Right.
No, no, no. Don't worry. You're here to play your part. Just trust. And it's hardest to trust when we're worried, when we're scared, and when we're fearful about our lives. And so that what I feel like he's talking about there, that's healing. That's kind of letting go and surrendering, where you're truly getting everything. You're truly having everything.
Yeah.
Whereas curing is when we're like, okay, we're coming together for something where we can let go of this ailment. And another thing Phyllis Crow said, in order to serve more.
Yes.
That if an individual's intention is to say, I wish to live so I can continue service, so I continue serving, so I can continue playing my part here. In
Yes.
this, I have more to give. It's almost like it's not your choice to want to live. You're like, nah, I've got to.
Exactly.
Whereas other people, you'll meet them and they're like, you know what, this is it. I'm all right, and that's at any age.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've sat with people of going through the hardest stuff and all of that, and so I think, yeah, that's an important part of it. You said right there, the difference between healing and curing. Yeah.
In my mind too, as I read that, I think about as people are confronting what can't be changed
Yeah.
at that point, or at least it seems like they can't be changed, then it's about doing a self exploration. Where do I need to make amends? Where do I need to give forgiveness? Where do I need to ask for forgiveness? These kinds of things help us to come to a more peaceful place with the things that we cannot change. Does that
Mm,
make sense?
very much.
Yeah.
I was hiking in Baxter State Park at the base of Mount Katahdin this winter,
Yeah.
when very few people, are up in that area. The roads are all closed around there, so you have to ski in. We had skied in 17 miles,
Oh my gosh.
cross country skiing, and then snowshoed more. And they have these cabins in there you can stay at, and there's like 10 beds in these cabins, and you just rent out 2 spots, 5 spots, however many are in your group. And then other people that are hiking through there rent them out as well. And one night we were in this cabin, and 2 other hikers came in. They were mountaineers. They'd been going up on the different peaks around Katahdin, and they came in, and so you become friends pretty quickly. You're in the middle of nowhere, literally, in this cabin.
Yeah.
And one of them was talking how he uh, had cancer in his past, and he said that he was talking, and he said, well, we asked him why he was here. He was from Canada, pretty far away. Why are you here? Why'd you come in the winter?
Yeah.
And so we're just asking what everybody's intention is. It's a good question to ask, like, why are you here? This takes a lot. It takes a lot to get in here and do this. And he got real quiet. And he was eating. We were all eating at the same time around this table. And he stopped for a second and he put his utensils down. And it's like he wanted to say what he was going to say with great care.
Mhm.
but he also had an easiness about him, a real relaxed easiness. And he said, well, I got cancer. I think he was around 40 years old, this man. He said, well, I got cancer. And he goes, well, I don't wish it upon anybody. And if anybody has it, the goal is to see if we can get it to shift and fade and leave. He says, but it's also you won't know what I'm saying. You won't understand until you truly experience it. It's also the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. And then he said, whether I lived or died.
Oh, wow.
He said every day then, he goes, I started to live by my heart every day. I wasn't gonna, he was like, whether it be saying, doing, whatever I wanted to. And he goes, you think that your life and its structure will fall apart if you just start doing what you want to do every day. You think, he's like, but he goes, no, life got better.
Yeah, easier.
life responded. He goes, life jumped up with me and came alive. And he's like, a day didn't go by where I didn't tell my wife that I loved her. Like, not just saying, he's like stopping, being present, looking her in the eyes and saying, I love you. He goes, I wasn't going to have a day go by without, and he goes, the thing is, we think in life, there's these big moments where you stop somebody and look them in the eye and say, I love you. And it's like a big deal. He goes, after a while, it became normal. He goes, I was literally telling everybody I loved them.
Oh,
He's like,
wow.
first thing in sentences, first when I was meeting him, he goes, it just became normal.
Oh,
He
wow.
goes, after a while, I didn't have to, he used different words and all that, but it sounded like he was saying, after a while, I didn't have to bring myself up to do it. It was just my state of being. It
Wow.
was just my state of being. And so he goes, now I do this. He goes, if I want to do something, I do it. I do it. And he goes, I always wanted to come down here and hike in the winter. So I hired a guide. That was the other guy he was with.
Oh my gosh.
Um, and here we are doing it.
Wow.
Mm.
Aside from meeting him, it looked like an amazing adventure. I saw some of the pictures you'd posted. It was unbelievable. I mean, the solitude and the oneness with a mountain, and oh, that was juicy.
Yeah, it was a big deal for me because it was my third time in there. And because of conditions, weather, and one time my abilities weren't ready yet, I hadn't been to the top of Katahdin, what
Yeah.
they call Baxter Peak there. Because it takes a lot to get there, and in the winter. And this time I had let go. I was having a blast just getting in there, and I was like, yeah, if we get to the top, we get to the top. Let's just we'll see what's there on the weather that day and everything else. And the day before, I meditated in Chimney Pond, this ravine right at the base of Katahdin, and I just wanted to meditate and have a nice, good um, half hour of being still and deeply at peace. No real intention to it, but all of a sudden I felt like I was having a conversation with the mountain. And I felt the mountain say, I, I felt the mountain say, if I try to get it exactly into words, I just want to be treated like you, Chris.
Wow.
like, because I had this feeling of like majestic, beautiful Katahdin, and only if I pray and I am worthy, and Katahdin gives me permission,
Yes.
and right, but I felt Katahdin be like, can't I just be like you?
Wow.
Can't you just be like me? Um, I can't put it into words, Phoenix. I've lost. I did a little. I was able to put it into words right after it happened a little bit better. But it felt. Oh, I wish I could put it into words better.
Um,
But I realized that the mountain is no bigger than me,
mm,
and I'm no bigger than the mountain either.
right.
Because I think people can get caught in both, feeling that the mountain's bigger than them or that they're bigger than the mountain.
That's right.
Going to tame it. And and so it stayed with me. I feel Katahdin. I've never joined with a mountain before. I have,
Good
I
energy.
have, spirit animals, spirit guides. I have all these spirit friends. I got a long list of these, these beings that are with me, and they really help me out a lot. But I never thought a mountain. But that's how they all came to me. I never thought they were coming. It just happens, right? It's just
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I'm like, wow, I didn't expect this, but I still feel Katahdin in me.
Ooh,
And
wow.
it's not like I feel like I have the power of a mountain. No, not at
No,
all. It's
no.
very humbling.
Yeah.
It's remembering that a mountain is no bigger than another human, that every human is as big as a mountain, that it's wrong for us to look up at this mountain and think it's bigger than us. Or it's wrong for us to look at this mountain and think we're going to conquer it, that we're bigger than the mountain. If we get to the top, that we've conquered that mountain and we're bigger than the mountain. Um, and so when I think of Katahdin like me and me like Katahdin, something comes over me.
Yeah.
Something comes over me, like one of the bigger, the bigger, more humbled, relaxed, quiet, small, tiny, big strength um, comes through me. And
Mhm.
yeah.
That is, it reminds me of transfiguration, which is a Sandra Ingerman word, and she's a shamanic teacher from, oh gosh, the 90s, 80s and 90s, and is still teaching now. One of my teachers. And transfiguration is when you shapeshift into an aspect of the divine.
Mm.
And so she uses the elements to do that. So you're shapeshifting into a drop of water and following a drop of water through its life cycle, or you shapeshift into a grain of sand and follow it through its life cycle. And a mountain is just basically a bunch of grains of sand, right? And once you have that experience, you become that element. It
Mm.
doesn't leave you, right? Because you are one with it. And so that's exactly the kind of connection you had, a shamanic journey, and you didn't even know it.
Yeah, yeah, it surprised me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Yes.
feel as you're just speaking there. I can feel that,
Yeah.
being the grain of sand, or being the wind, or being anything like that. It's a beautiful feeling, and it's as real. The I think what the world is learning is it's just as real as any. It's 100. It's what creates tangible reality, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
And then to think about it from a mountain standpoint, the vastness, the hugeness of it, to be one with that is just an even more magnificent transfiguration.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. Now, I'm just being cognizant of time here.
Hmm.
Is there anything that you would really like your readers to know about your book that maybe you didn't mention, or maybe it's a little backstory, or just the essence that you'd like to convey of your book?
The whole entire book is a very deeply expressed experience of life when you feel a deep, unconditional love for another being walking with you through life. And in this particular story, it involves a man, a dog, and a horse. And this book helps us all to see that those are our beautifully different bodies that we inhabit while going through this story. Yet the interconnected, soulful adventure as being led by heart guidance is something that all three of us contributed to in equal measure and in equal experience. And that animals in this world are capable of having this experience with humans on that very same level that we humans feel we can most easily have with other humans. And that these connections live on. They live on beyond this world alone and travel with us in ways um, we can wonderfully be conscious of and feel, but then also even in more deeper ways that will unfold as our journey continues with them beyond this world alone.
Oh, so beautifully said. The minute you started talking, I have tears in my eyes. I'm just like, oh my gosh, that was so perfect. That was so perfect.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thanks for asking me that question.
oh,
It's one of the reasons why I'm here in this world is
oh,
to bring this bring about this awareness of the connection between humans and all of animals.
and you do it beautifully, Chris. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Phoenix. Thank you. I really feel fortunate for that day that you stopped by to see Tally and I at Common Ground Fair.
Oh, you couldn't have stopped me. It's like, here I am. Here's my card. I need you on my radio show.
Yeah, yeah,
But
the
it was,
world's doing okay. The
oh,
world's doing okay. There's so many. It's around every corner you look where heart is rising,
yeah.
connection is rising, peace is actually rising, understanding of ourselves is rising, needing less to feel these things, but feeling more on the inside, to feel them from the inside out, it's starting to happen. The world's going to be okay.
Yep.
We're right in the middle of the time where we're doing the work to bring about a new way of being. It's messy, it's challenging, but everything's going to be okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. That's my feeling. That's why we're here now, to see it through, right?
Yeah. 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 Everywhere. Like it's
Yeah.
my friend Ray, he's 80, and he says, back in the 90s, Chris, you had to travel pretty far to find a circle to talk like we're talking in these circles now. Because nowadays, Chris, every town has one. You just have to ask, you have to look, but every town, you can sit in a circle, and you're going to find people, people who are going to be able to talk about themselves as a spiritual, soulful, heartfelt being, and the idea of that light and love and oneness being present in this world in a way that creates a world that feels safe, feels abundant for all, feels supportive. Um,
Maybe free.
and I think it's going to be fun to see, where this leads, in just even in 10, 20 years.
Mhm.
Change doesn't happen in the past centuries. Change is more slow. It takes a long time, right? But now, and the thing, we're moving so fast now, and we're so interconnected in different ways that it's overwhelming, and it moves too fast sometimes. But the flip side of that coin is that everything else can travel fast too.
Yeah.
And so you just get all this light and love and oneness traveling fast. You take advantage of that, how things are moving so fast right now, and just put that boom into what's moving around. And yeah, it's going to be pretty neat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, Chris.
Yeah. Thanks, Phoenix. Thanks for the opportunity to talk to you.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Yeah. And thanks for the work you're doing here as well. Just going out there and putting the emails that you put out and everything that I see come through and all of that. And I'm like, yeah, we need these reminders. We need these opportunities. And we need the people who are dedicated to that. So thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. And thank you for all your beautiful Facebook posts that inspire so many people. You've inspired me to start doing that. So,
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's okay. It works. It's like a little blog, basically. It's a
yeah,
blog and it gets it out there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Phoenix. Thank you.